This is Janet, our fearless leader. I'm taking movies.
I love it! Hello, welcome to Leave No Trace Tour 2012 in Econfina.
Oh yeah, you like those?
Mwah. The movement started in the 60s. The idea towards a cohesive outdoor education started in the 60s, really with the hippie Get Back to Nature movement, where a lot of people wanted to get outside. At state parks, normally, there's 4 types of land managers. In the 60s, 2 things happened. One, there was this real desire to get back in touch with nature with basically the hippie movement. But 2, there was an increase in technology, which allowed people to get to places that what they normally couldn't get before without mules and a Sherpa. So with the advent of things like nylon and things like that, people could go a lot further away from the trail and have a more pristine experience. But that created a lot of problems too, basically among the managers that weren't used to people being on their property. Literally, Forest Service just had forest rangers on it. National Forest land really was just that. So when people started going into National Forest land, because it's our land, all public lands are our lands, unless there's something specific about it, we really get to camp on these lands as if without a permit. The manager was like, no, you can't be here. This is our property. This is like private property. Or like, no, it's not. So there were a lot of run-ins with people and the managers. And the biggest grief that the managers had was that the people going in were causing an inordinate amount of damage to the ecosystem. And they were starting fires and they were burning down the forests, which were the natural resource of the, without the trees to manage, a lot of the Forest Service personnel were out of work. So fast forward to the 70s, the Park Service finally said to all the other managers, look, we got to get together and figure out some way that we can get a message across to people, because first they individually try to say, no, you can't do this, which is a natural human response to no is, oh yes, we can. So there was a lot of this going on. Secondly of all, when the individual managers just developed their own system of how they wanted to people to behave, when a person would go from a different place, from one type of like Forest Service to Park Service to Bureau of Land Management, it wasn't the same message. So the message was, well, Bureau of Land Management says I could do this. What do you mean I can't do it here? So there was an inconsistency of message. So finally, all the managers looked to the Park Service to come up with a solution, and then the Park Service went to Knowles, the National Outdoor Leadership School in Lander, Wyoming. And Knowles developed a program for outdoor ethics. But the program that they had was 30 days long. It was a way to teach the managers how to be out and not negatively impact the land. It was not practical for a consumer base. So Knowles worked with the Park Service to develop something called the Leave No Trace Center for Outdoor Ethics, which officially launched in 1994. And it was 7 principles about how to be in nature without negatively impacting it. It depends. In Florida, there are a lot of hard and fast rules that don't always fit the national model. For instance, one of them involves, where do you go to the bathroom? Ideally, you walk 200 feet away from a water source. Well, in Florida, if you walk 200 feet away from one water source, you're probably going to be right in the middle of another water source. So again, it all depends on what's going on. Rules are specific to regions. So really, it's best practices, common sense for the place that you're in, to the best of your ability to do it. If you fail, you don't get a ticket from the LNT police. You just try harder the next time. It's really, that's why we call the 1-hour workshops an awareness workshop. What we are embarking on is an overnight trainer course where at the end of it, you will learn how to give a 1-hour workshop and cover these principles in brief and just be able to enlighten people. We are doing what's called backcountry hiking, which is what the LNT was originally designed for. But most people are front country, like day visitors or, car campers. LNT is still, just should be an omnipotent part of the world, and best practices for being outside. Today is that the person who is teaching, or the people who are teaching the principles, are really just starting a conversation which we will all continue